Thank you for tuning in to the Victory is Greater Than the Struggle, an ex-lesbian podcast with myself, your host, Jessica Newsom. Okay, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about just a little piece from John 21. Basically, you have Simon Peter out there on the boat fishing with a couple other disciples. He's out there all night fishing, caught nothing, right? And then in the early morning, this guy on the shore says, "Hey, have you caught anything?" He's like, "No." And the guy on the shore is like, "Okay, well, throw your net onto the right side," right? And Simon Peter went ahead and did it. They caught a whole bunch of fish. They couldn't even get all of the fish into the boat. He recognizes it's Jesus. He jumps out, meets Jesus. Jesus already has fish cooking. He's like, "Come on, eat breakfast." Now, what I want to talk to you guys today is all about the pause in your life, those pause moments in your life to where it's like you've been doing the thing over and over again and you aren't reaping the results. You aren't reaping the harvest. You aren't seeing the results that you think you're supposed to be seeing. Maybe you just feel like you've been in the valley for so long and you're just like, "Man, God, when am I going to get to that mountaintop?" Everyone else around me seems to be on their way to that mountaintop, or they've had several mountaintop experiences, but I just seem to just kind of be stuck in this place. And so what we tend to do so often when we're stuck is we just start striving, right? In our own mind, we are trying to obtain the things of God. In our own mind, we are trying to reach our destiny because we don't feel like waiting. We don't like it when God pumps the brakes and puts us on pause. We don't like those valley moments in our life. And so, we try to do in our might only what God can do for us, and we end up getting stuck when we keep striving. It's not working when we keep striving. We're seeing very little progress when we're the ones that's striving to do what only God can do in our lives. And so what I thought to myself the other day was just that verse where it says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you." And I kind of looked back in my life and I've seen where I have strived, where I just tried to get there. God put like a dream, or he put something on the inside of me, and I'm like, "Let's go. Forget the valley, forget the learning, forget the teaching. Let's go. You're a supernatural God. You can do all of that while we're heading to that mountaintop." And yes, he can, but I think so often it takes a lot longer than what we expect, because what's more important than that mountaintop is the valley moments. It's the character building that God is doing on the inside of us. And I speak with people all the time who are so frustrated when they're put on pause and they're looking around and they're just saying, "Man, it's happening for everyone except for me." But what I've noticed in my life is that every time God puts me on pause, it's for a purpose. He puts me on pause, he sits me down, and it's always for a purpose. 9 times out of 10, it's for character development. It is for my own personal growth. There is something that is not lining up right with his word, with him, and he's like, "We need to fix this. We need to adjust this. We need to correct this." And if we say, "Yes, God, I will obey. Yes, God, I will be set down and put on pause. I will sit in this valley and learn what I need to learn from you and overcome that thing," then the valley isn't as long as it needs to be. Yes, there's some times in our lives when maybe the cards that you have been dealt are less than glamorous and your valley lows are so low and you're just like, "Man, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this." Let me tell you something. Sometimes the situations that we have gotten ourselves into, voluntary or involuntary, it will cause these valleys in our lives, these moments when we are put on pause to be lengthened, because it's not just us that God's trying to fix, but there's other people in our lives where in order to move us forward, it has to ripple effect out around the people around us to help us get out of this mess, okay? And so whenever God puts us on pause, it's always for our good. It is always for our good. Being put on pause is usually for correction, adjustment, and realignment. I cannot tell you how many times God has corrected me, has realigned me, right? Has just adjusted my even frame of thought, the way I think. And looking back, I'm just like so grateful for those moments because it's built up my character so that I can be able to get to those mountaintops and be sustained on that mountaintop. We need to get to a place to where we love the valley. I'm talking about getting to a place to where we say, I'm not even focused anymore on that mountaintop. Like, my life's purpose is not to keep my eyes focused on the mountaintop. My life's purpose is to be focused on God, who is right in front of me wherever I am, and to learn from him and to glean from him and to grow in him so that I can be strengthened as a Christian. Because so often we're always being torn left and right, going to people left and right, trying to get them to build us up, to edify us, or to tell us what to do. And God's like, wait, I'm supposed to be those things for you. Yes, we have friendships and relationships that edify us, but God needs to be that number one in our life, that solid rock to where we know, okay, I'm on the right path because I'm following God's will, because God's building up my character. I am able to discern the will of God and the voice of God in my life. And so what valleys are you in? What pauses have you encountered in your life to where you're just like, I don't know what's going on. I've been fishing all night and I just feel stuck. What are those areas? 9 times out of 10, there's something that God wants us to learn. There's something that he wants to grow us in that season. And we have to be sensitive to that, and we have to say yes to that. So many times we just kind of gloss over it, and sometimes God is trying to tell us, hey, I'm working on your attitude, right? And we're just like, yeah. And we kind of push it off to the side. We cannot keep pushing it off to the side, because if we keep pushing that thing off to the side, we're prolonging our destiny steps. We are prolonging the promises of God. We are prolonging those mountaintops because we keep pushing off what God wants us to focus on and to readjust in our lives, to get rid of whatever it is, right? We can't put off what God is saying, I want you to focus on. So we really have to get to a place, and man, it is in those valleys where you actually learn to love the things that you would normally hate. I hated character development in my life because it equaled pain to me. When God wanted to work on my character, it meant that he was going to allow me to deal with something or go through something that I did not want to go through. Now, do I still want to go through those things? Heck no. But what I have learned now is that it makes me a better person. It realigns me. It really pushes me towards my destiny steps. It strengthens me as a Christian. And so I love correction. But if you were like me, right, and you were super like just rebellious in the past, and you're just like, ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing, I don't want to hear it, right? God's like, I'm gonna pump your brakes, boo. We're gonna put a pause on that progress right now, and we're gonna work on this one issue, right? And so you get to a place to where you love what God produces in you, even though it caused you pain in order for you to get there. It is good to love correction. It is good to love that growth. Things that are often good for us. It doesn't seem good. It doesn't feel good in the present while you're going through it. But if we continue to hold on to God's hand, continue to trust him and walk with him, man, you will see that the pauses are just that, a pause. On the way to your destiny. God's got you. You're on the way to that mountaintop, but don't keep your eyes so fixated on that you cannot enjoy, that you cannot appreciate what's around you right now. Those little valleys, those little learning lessons right now. I hope you guys enjoyed that. This is The Victory is Greater Than the Struggle, an ex-lesbian podcast with myself, your host, Jessica Newsom. I'll see you guys next time.